Today I want to talk about Escortmaxxing. Over the past year or so, I've received multiple comments, people requesting that I talk about this topic, Escortmaxxing, so I'm doing it, okay? I'm finally going to talk about it. Now, first and foremost, I will say, I think that Escortmaxxing, for most people in this position, the position of being a involuntarily celibate male, for most of us, Escortmaxxing is really it's not gonna provide really any benefit. It's not gonna help, okay? And I also think there are reasons why it's unethical as well, okay? So I also think that it is unethical in general to practice Escortmaxxing. Okay, so I am against it. All right, and I'm going to tell you the number one reason why I don't think anybody in this position should be Escortmaxxing is because it's just not going to help you feel any better. The thing a lot of people don't understand about involuntarily celibate men, even a lot of involuntarily celibate men themselves don't understand this about themselves. I've mentioned this multiple times on my channel in different videos, but I'll say it again here. The thing about being involuntarily celibate as a man that makes it so hard, that impacts your life in so many negative ways, the thing about it, it's not the lack of having sex that is the problem. That is just a proxy for the problem. The actual problem is that we can't find love. We can't find an actual human connection with a woman that loves us. You know, we're not desired by any women. We're not loved by any women romantically. We're not seen as attractive. We're seen as losers. We're unwanted. Women are disgusted by us oftentimes. Those are the problems. And that's not going to be fixed by doing the deed with a woman that is paid to do the deed with us. That's not going to fix the problem. Now, it might give you an enjoyable experience. So, I can understand how it could be an enjoyable experience. Obviously, it could be an enjoyable experience. Now, in my case, because I am a very high inhibition, which is just another way to say I'm very shy, I'm very reserved, I'm a very shy, highly anxious guy. In my case, I don't even think it would be an enjoyable experience because of the level of anxiety I have. I mean, really, I can't even imagine trying to procure an escort and then going through with it and just doing something that intimate with someone that I know doesn't actually want to do it, and they're only doing it because I'm paying them. That I wouldn't be comfortable doing it. So I couldn't actually enjoy it. An essential component to the enjoyment of the act of doing that deed, I think for me, would have to be that the woman I'm doing it with actively wants to be doing it with me, right? That's an essential component for me to enjoy the act. So in my case, I don't think I could even get any enjoyment out of Escortmaxxing. Now, I know for a lot of you, you could enjoy it, and that's okay. But even in that case, all you're getting out of it is a little bit of fun, a little bit of enjoyment. It would be kind of like getting a massage, is how I see it. It would basically be like getting a massage, It would feel good for 30 minutes or an hour or however long, You would have an experience that is enjoyable to you, but it wouldn't solve your problems. Because this is the thing that so many people don't understand. Being an involuntarily celibate man The issue is not, it's not a physical issue primarily. it is primarily an emotional issue. It is primarily a mental and emotional issue. What we actually need to find fulfillment in our lives is to be desired by a woman, to actually be loved by a woman, to have, and not only that, but to actually have a woman that is your partner in life, or at least to have a woman or multiple women that want you, that enjoy your company, that want to know you, want to spend time with you. That's what you need to have a healthy emotional state, to be in a healthy mind state, healthy mental state, and to just live life like basically a normal human. That's what you need, like actual affection, okay? Paying a professional woman to simulate part of that for you, like I say, for a period of time, for 30 minutes, an hour while you're doing it, I'm sure that is going to be a good time, enjoyable for most men, but ultimately that's not fixing any issue. So whenever people talk about escortmaxxing as if it's some kind of solution, it's not a solution. It's not a solution at all. And if you think that it would be a solution for you, or if you currently are escortmaxxing and you think that it is a solution for you, then I would say you are mistaken. Okay? No matter who you are, unless you are like a psychopath, some kind of sociopath, escortmaxxing is not going to be a solution, because what you need is that actual connection, that actual affection from a woman. So this simulated affection that you would get with what you do with an escort, that's not real. That's not going to solve anything. So that's part of it. And another part of this that I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Feel free to leave comments explaining why I'm wrong on this. But it seems to me that escortmaxxing, it's unethical. I think that it is unethical to use the services of an escort. The reason I think that is, okay, so I will say, obviously, women have freedom, okay? They can, well, depending on where you live, but let's assume, even talking about a place where escorting is 100% legal, in that case, a lot of women that are doing that type of work are just, they may just be independent women that decided, hey, this is an easy way for me to make lots of money, so I'm willing to do this, so this is what I'm doing, okay? So in the case where the woman is 100% just doing it of her own free will, she's made that decision and she's chosen to do that, then yeah, in that case, using that woman's services would be ethical in that situation. But the reason I think that it's just escortmaxxing is unethical in general, there's not a good way for you to verify that any particular escort you're using the services of is doing all this of her own free will, that she understands all the risks involved and all that. I don't know really how the industry works. Maybe I'm just falling for feminist propaganda here, but I think that there probably are a lot of women that have been, they don't want to be doing what they're doing. I think a very large amount of women in the escort business do not want to be doing it. They're doing it because they're trying to support their drug addiction, or they're doing it because they're young and they just do not understand the actual risks, the actual downsides of what they are doing to themselves. And for that reason, I think in general, it's unethical to be doing it. Now, I wouldn't criticize any particular man, especially an involuntarily celibate man, for using escort services, because I do understand why you would go that route. There are times when I've just been in such a mood where it's like, I've thought about it, I have thought about it. I've never gotten to the point that I've actually looked online for that type of service, but I have considered maybe it would be worth it for, I don't even know how much it costs, but there's been times when I was watching a video, a certain type of video, and you see the woman in the video, and it's like, okay, I would pay $1,000. And I was just in that mood while watching the video where it's like, you know what? I would definitely pay $1,000 to spend some time with this woman if that were possible. Now, of course, I do understand how men get to that point and why they do that. And like I say, especially involuntarily celibate men, when you're in this situation, it's a level of desperation that a lot of people, I mean, if you're not in this situation yourself, you really can't understand it. It's tough. It's tough out here for guys like us. So I understand why guys would do that. And even though I believe it is unethical, I don't fault any man that has weighed the options in his mind and decided, hey, I need to do this. I need to try this. Maybe it'll help. And I'm pretty sure that in 99% of cases, because like I say, if you're not some kind of sociopath or something, Escortmaxxing is not going to help you on any kind of emotional level. It's just not. So when it comes to Escortmaxxing, believe it or not, I am completely opposed to it. I don't think it's good to do. I think it's probably unethical. And I don't know really, I haven't thought too much about whether or not I think it should be legal or illegal. I kind of lean toward, I think probably it should not be legal, but whatever. I don't make the laws. I honestly don't even vote on them because whatever. I'm just here. I'm not trying to change the world really because, what am I going to do? Escortmaxxing is just, it's missing the point entirely. To me, this is obvious that Escortmaxxing is just missing the point entirely. To me, it's obvious that it's not anything physical that is the actual real issue that men like myself are facing. To me, that is obvious. But I've gotten so many comments asking me to give my opinions on Escortmaxxing that I feel like at this point I have to make this video, okay? Because a lot of you have asked for this. So yeah, that's my opinion. I'm against it. If you want to do Escortmaxxing, I think there are reasons why it's actually unethical to do it and you should not do it. And also, I think it's not going to help you. But if you want to, I'm not going to fault anybody in this situation for doing that because, hey, I understand the concept of just trying whatever you can to fix it, because it's very tough for guys like us. And I understand why you got to do what you got to do to try to make things better. I fully understand that. But for me, it's not something I would do. I'm 100% sure it would not help at all. It would not help at all. At best, it would be, 30 minutes to an hour of a good time. At best, it's like getting a massage. It wouldn't help emotionally. And in my case, I know that I would feel guilty afterwards since I feel like it's an unethical thing to do. I would feel like I've done something wrong. So it would emotionally and mentally, for my mental health, it would be a bad thing, actually. And I think a lot of men would feel that way. Because I think a lot of people, even if you don't kind of realize it on the surface, I think most men probably deep down do realize that using escort services is unethical because it has such a potential for abuse. And just because, look, most of these women doing this, they're not in a good way. They don't want to be doing that. They're doing it out of desperation. They're doing it for the same reason you are. They're doing that. They're providing that service out of desperation. You're using that service out of desperation. Both people in this situation should find other avenues to attempt to solve the problems that they're facing. And I know there's plenty of guys out there, if you're in my situation, and there's guys that are way worse off than I am in terms of looks. I'm an unattractive man myself. I think I'm sub 5. There's a lot of guys out there that are way worse than I am. And I'm not saying that to talk trash about any men. I'm just saying I understand if you're, at that level where it's like, okay, there's literally zero chance any woman would ever do this with me willingly. I just want to do it one time to try it out. I understand. I understand doing that because, like I say, I've thought of it myself. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Escortmaxxing, I'm not for it. I'm against it. So yeah.